because she had a big settlement. So she said, "You help me pay some of this money back." I told her,
Did you give him cash?
From my bank statement.
Well, it says you withdrew $5,000.
I gave him the 5,000.
And you say you owed her $5,000. So why do you say you didn't receive 5,000?
"Okay, I didn't receive 5,000 from you.
Are you gave him the entire full amount, man?
I did not receive 5,000 from
So
you."
tell me what happens. You give him money, what happens?
What ended up happening once he got the car, he didn't want to be bothered with me no longer.
Oh, you were still in San Francisco?
No, I was still in Sacramento. So what ended up happening was the day I was getting ready to move back home, me and him got on the phone, and I said, "Okay, what about the money that you owe me?" And
What do you mean by after he got the car, he didn't want to be bothered with you?
he don't want to have nothing to do. He got his car, so he ain't got to come take me nowhere. It's just like, I
So
don't.
you're saying that he sold you that story about helping take care of you and getting the car, and as soon as he got it, everything changed.
Right.
What did you say?
All these years, come on now. We was married all these years. She didn't give me no 5,000 on top of that. She gave me 2,500. If I can recall, the other part was when we gambling. That she, like I said, got a settlement and we was gambling. And she said, "Help me give me some of this money back." And I told her, "Fine, I will." We're still together, y'all. We gave each other money all the time. I gave her money all the time.
Did you?
All the time, y'all. Now, just bought a car, a used car. Come on now.
Well, did you ever pay her back any of the money you promised to pay her?
I didn't write down no note, but we were still together.
So you say you did give
Yes,
her
I
money
gave
back,
her
did
back.
he?
Yes, I did.
Told me what he said was the day that I was leaving to come back to San Francisco. He said, "You know what? I won't even show up at court. Better yet, I'll pay you $5 a month." And I haven't even got that yet.
Now,
I sent him a letter.
he never sent me nothing.
I sent him a letter certified. The letter was never opened. I have the letter where you can see it was never tore up.
Where's the car?
Car, you go. We're back to the black. Can't afford it no more.
I was
What happened? So you got the car in 2011?
We have to put us together. Yeah.
And you were paying the car notes?
Car note.
Stop paying the notes.
Can't afford to pay it no more.
If she gave you 2,500, why didn't you pay any of that back?
We were still together, y'all. I was giving her
Let me tell you something. This is not the courtroom of when people are still together.
Yeah,
This is a courtroom is about evidence.
yeah.
Okay, and I have a note that you say you wrote out saying that you owe this money.
When I worked in Congress, I saw how corporations control our politicians. That's how Bill breaks the system to work for them, not for you. I don't take any corporate or APAC money. I'm Boycott Chakrabarty, and I'm running for Congress to end corruption in Washington. Ban members of Congress from trading stocks and get rid of big money in politics by overturning Citizens United. He can do this. I'm Boycott Chakrabarty, and I approve this message, which isn't funded by any billionaires or big corporations.
Come see the Sawyer collection. Only at Living Spaces.
Hotels.com introduces Save Your Way. Choose how you save. Tickets and savings now, or bank as rewards for a future trip. Save Your Way. It's exactly what it sounds like, unlike headphones. Save Your Way, only at Hotels.com. Hotels.com. It's all in the name.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Clearly, you all had every intention of marrying and went through with the ceremony and everything, and it appeared there was some kind of glitch with the paperwork. You testified today about Miss Sweeney's habits with her drinking and the issues, and I think he's told some truth about that man. And I know you denied everything that he said, but I believe him about your drinking and some of those issues that you were having. And so it kind of leads me to believe that there was an issue with this money. I'm not sure he actually received the full $5,000. He said he only received 2,500, and the other part was used for gambling. the fact is, I'm not 100% sure because there's so many different moving parts to this story. But what he does admit, he admits to owing you 2,500. I just have the impression sometimes when I sit here and I do this, I have to make a judgment call based on the people who are standing in front of me and the impressions that you're making and the credibility that I think you have based on your testimony. And for some reason, I think if he really believed he owed you $5,000 and that you gave him $5,000, I think he'd say it. Based on all of that, I'm going to order you, sir, to pay her $2,500, half of this amount. I am not 100% convinced that you actually gave him the full $5,000 despite him signing this note. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff, $2,500. Good luck.
On Judge Faith, this mother says the car she bought her son was a loan.
You know, it was not a gift.
It's not about what he knows, it's about what he's saying in court today.
Judge Faith discovers what's really driving this lawsuit.
Happy to see my grandson.
In how long?
2 months.
There has been disrespect, verbal abuse. She even broke into our house.
It was open.
Having kids in and out of the system for half of their lives, you should know I should do something different this time around.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Norma Garcia says the car she bought her son was a loan, not a gift. She's suing for the unpaid balance of the car. Defendants Erica Arrieta and Enrique Armejo claim the plaintiff told them it was a loan only after she purchased the car, so they owe nothing.
Remain seated to come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Come to the case of Garcia versus Armijo and Argueta.
Thank you, Martha. Norma Garcia,
Yes.
you are suing the defendant Enrique Armejo,
Yes.
and he's your son, as I understand it?
Yes, yes.
And also Erica Argueta?
Yeah.
Okay, and you are highly related to the defendant? I'm his girlfriend, of his child. Okay, all right. You are suing them for $1,100, the value for an unpaid car?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning? What's going on between you and your son?
Okay, me and my son always had a good relationship. We would have our ups and downs, but I was always there for him, and I would do everything whenever he needed something. I tried to do my best for him to get it. I met Erica about 3-4 years ago. Everything went fine in the beginning. When I found out she was pregnant, and I was very happy. A lot of joy.
Let me ask you, so how many children do you have?
I have 4.
4. And how do you fall in there, the 4 kids? Are you the youngest?
No, I'm like the middle one, I believe.
Middle? Okay, so you have a younger brother or sister?
Hmm?
You have the younger siblings?
Yes, one.
One younger sibling. Okay. And you grew up with your mom in her household?
Somewhat.
What do you mean by somewhat?
I was in DCFS for about on and off for 10 years.
What does that mean?
Department of Child and Family Services.
Oh, for 10
Oh.
years? How old were you during that time period?
To tell you the truth, Your Honor, I can't remember my childhood, so I can't tell you for sure when we first got taken away.
So all of your kids were taken away from you, ma'am?
All 3 of them were taken away off and on.
Why?
I was doing wrong.
What was it? Was it drugs? Crime? What was going on with you?
Yeah, it was drugs and just people pointing at me and
And why were they calling? There had to be a reason.
because they really didn't like my partners.
Do you think that they were looking out for the kids?
And no, they were looking out for money.
What was going on? What do you remember?
One part that I do know is the drugs. I didn't know that my mom was doing drugs until after I went back with her. But I was I was of age to know what drugs was, but I didn't know that my mom was on drugs.
How old were you when you finally went back home and stayed?
It was on and off. So it's like, let's say I went back five years, and then got taken away like 7 years, and then went back for.
Because you're only 22 years old, so when he tells me for 10 years, that's almost half of his life,
Right?
he was in
In the system.
the system. I mean, that's pretty.
Hard.
I mean, because you start off telling me you have this good relationship that the two of you were so close. Half of his life he was taken away from you because the state deemed you to be an unfit parent.
Kind of, yeah. A lot of things.
You don't seem to grasp the gravity of that for a child.
Oh, I
That
fought
what it's
for
like
them.
for a child to experience that.
I fought for them for 6 years. Finally, I got him back after 6 years.
Are you clean now?
Oh yeah.
For how long?
I say 8 years.
Okay, so why are you here today? What's going on?
The reason I'm here today is Erica was pregnant. It was almost due. This was on February 2014. I had seen the car because I knew my son would need a car. In order for them to take the baby out of the hospital, they needed a car and a car seat.
You guys didn't have a car at that time?
No.
Okay.
And I called Enrique and I told Enrique, I need you to come over here. He just lived just across my alley. So he wasn't that far. So he came out there and he's like, what's up? And I go, look, this car is for sale. I told the guy, okay, I want to buy it. And then he goes, Mom, he goes, thank you. He goes, I'll pay you little by little. And I go, you know what? Don't worry about paying me right now. Pay me whenever you can.
Okay, and you say that he promised to pay you back and he did not.
And
You have a very different account of what happened, right? Okay, why don't you tell me your version?
I didn't really like it, but a car's better than nothing. So, and then I had a baby on the way, so we needed a car. She's like, okay, I'm giving you the car, but in time you'll pay me little by little.
So you're saying after she purchased the car, when she purchased the car, she was buying it for you, but afterwards, then she said, I want you to pay me back.
Yes,
Are,
basically.
are you working?
not anymore.
Okay, you don't have a job right now?
Not right now.
And what are you doing for money now?
Nothing right now. No.
You're looking?
Yeah, I'm looking. Yes.
Do you work, ma'am?
I have a 8-month-old baby today, so I'm a stay-at-home mother.
Did you say you have a child on the way too?
I do have a child on the way.
So you're 22 years old, you have no job,
Alright.
no source of income, and you have a 5-year-old, an 8-month-old, and a child on the way.
Mhm.
Do you think that's a good decision?
I'm trying my best to get a job.
It's a lot of responsibility for a 22.
Yes. That's it.
Coming up on Judge Faith, after the smoke clears,
How's she not respecting your child?
There's been too many things. Smoking.
You smoking around the baby?
And you don't say nothing about him smoking weed. You're running your baby.
Can't smoke?
Judge Faith lights up the truth.
You have to respect a mother's wishes with how she wants her child to be taken care of if you're visiting or if they're visiting you. That's it.
Plaintiff Norma Garcia says her son refuses to make payments on a car she bought him. Defendants Erica Argueta and Enrique Armejo say the plaintiff told them the car was a gift to help them with their baby.
What is the relationship like between the two of you?
There is no relationship. There has been too many problems. There has been disrespect. There has been verbal abuse. There has been taunting at my house where she comes to our gate. Because, like she said, we're right across from each other. And I had specifically asked her before not to come to our gates screaming our names or sending her children down to our gates screaming our names because it causes problems with the people in our building to where we were getting complaints about us. And we asked her to stop. She
What is she screaming about?
all sorts of things, the car, things that had to do with her and Enrique. I had specifically told Enrique, I no longer want your mother in the picture if she cannot respect my wishes as a mother and my boundaries as a mother and respect my child. She won't be a part at all.
How's she not respecting your child?
There's been too many things. Smoking,
Were you smoking around the baby?
No,
that's not.
not at all.
She even broke into our house with her son.
How did you get into their house?
Oh, the gate's open. The
Wait,
gate's open.
so-
Sometimes they don't.
Ma'am, did you go into their home?
Not
without their
inside the
permission.
house.
People from their slide
Not at work. It was open.
So, ma'am, so that's what I'm asking you.
You
You said the sliding door,
it was broken.
listen, I'm asking you a question. So you walked into their house?
No, I was looking out.
How do you know the sliding door, stop. How do you know the sliding door was broken and could open?
Enrique would open it.
So you understand you didn't go into their house without their permission, that never happened. Saying you never smoked in front of the baby, that never happened.
No.
Okay, go ahead,
And you don't say nothing about him
Stop.
smoking weed.
stop. So has she had a relationship with your child at all?
We did. We once had a relationship. And I would bring the baby over there all the time. When we would go to all of our appointments, she was there for every single appointment.
So is she allowed to see her grandson?
Not anymore,
No,
no.
my diabetes is contagious.
What?
What do you mean by
What
that?
does that even mean?
My son had told me that Erica has said that the reason because of my diabetes, she didn't want the baby around me to see that. Okay, and he wouldn't answer my phone call. They even changed their number.
Long story short, there was a breakdown, and clearly at some point you tell her she cannot visit her grandchild anymore, and the two of you have a falling out. Do you speak now? Or you not on speaking
I
terms?
haven't seen my grandson
In how long?
about 2 months, I think.
It's
I
actually,
mean, I was there from the beginning. And I wouldn't expect this from them too. Because I was good to him, no matter what. We had our ups and downs. Everybody does. I mean, I had my older daughter. I can't see my grandkids because of my diabetes also.
So your older daughter, you're saying you can't see your grandkids because
I'm diabetic.
do you really think that's the reason, ma'am?
Yes.
First, it isn't
It's not-
contagious.
Yeah.
Second, she's telling all these other reasons, and then I find out that your older daughter won't let you see the grandkids. I'm just wondering what's going on here. Why don't you speak to your mom anymore?
Just because of the problems. When she was pregnant, we even gave her boundaries, rules that I told her, and I told her straight, like, because I was a mama's boy. Yeah.
Wait, she wanted to have rules in my house. Your rules in my house. I don't think so.
Go ahead, sir.
And then so I was fed up with it. I met my girlfriend. For now, she changed me. So I
Stop. Go ahead.
I finally stuck to my mom, just because the reason why she wasn't respecting her. So we told her the few boundaries, the rules, no taking our son anywhere without our permission, and especially in a car. Like it's just not safe, especially since you don't have a license.
Yes.
You don't need it.
You don't have a license.
I just got my license.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah.
Ma'am, do you understand that this is their child? Do you understand that? The things they're saying seem really reasonable.
I couldn't even walk my grandson to the store in a cart, one of those little
What happened with the bottle?
the bottle. That's where I stopped it.
Coming up, what's a mother to do?
Her and her daughter decided to give my son half a sugar to an infant, and I will not put up with that.
But that doesn't mean you gotta take him away from me.
I'm taking him away from you, Norman, because of your actions and the beliefs of your family. I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah, exactly.
Introducing the all-new AT&T One Connect. Now, all of your devices are connected under one plan. Whether you're working from home or streaming on the go, AT&T One Connect keeps your phone, smartwatch, tablet, all of your screens connected. One plan, all of your connections, one simple price. Tax included. Switch and get AT&T One Connect for both wireless and home internet, starting at $90 a month. AT&T, connecting changes everything. Order a foot long in the app, and Subway Sub Club member get another for free.
You don't have a clear picture of your finances, you don't have a clear picture of anything. Before Relay, my business's financial setup looked like one big bucket. There's a big unknown. Can I take this money? What do I have?
Plaintiff Norma Garcia says her son knows the money she gave him for a car was a loan. Defendants Erica Argueta and Enrique Armejo say the car was a gift and they owe nothing.
Her and her daughter decided to give my son half a sugar, half a water, and her daughter even admitted this to me.
Plain water.
Sugar water to an infant, a 3-month-old baby. And I will not put up with that. He asked me to try with his mother one more time, so I'm put literally.
Were you breastfeeding at the time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I would pump a bottle if she wanted it sometimes. But if he's already been fed, I don't want to overfeed him.
I gave him plain water.
Okay. But I told her not to. That's the point.
And she told you that she didn't want you to do that?
No, she said it after.
Okay.
That's not true.
Yes.
I see where there are some problems here.
Not a lot.
What proof do you have that, I'm still back to square one here. What proof do you have that this car, the money you spent on the car was a loan and not a gift? What proof do you have of that?
It's verbal.
So you have no proof
Not on me.
that this was, no, I don't want to hear, you knew you were coming for it.
Cash. It was cash.
Right.
He knows it was not a gift. It was not given.
That's not what he's saying, though. It's not about what he knows. It's about what he's saying in court today. And he's saying that you bought him that car, and only after you purchased it for him, you said, I want you to pay me back for this
No,
car.
it was before I even gave a guy the cash.
And it sounds like there's a complete breakdown now between the two of you, and you decided to file a lawsuit as a result.
I don't see my grandson. And Rita does go to my house. He's changed a lot.
And you think he's changed because of her?
Yes.
I see a young man in front of me who, I think has some growing up to do, has to make some better decisions, but I see a person with a lot of potential. I have a lot of 22-year-olds that come in here in a straight attitude. I don't get that from this young man. And I have to tell you, he seems like a pretty well put together young man for 22 years old. For everything that he's been through in his life, 10 years in the system.
Well, he's like that because you gotta let them go.
I mean, you say he's changed. Some people change for the better. Thank you. Things around. I know you don't like Erica.
I'm not saying I don't like her.
Well, there's
It's not saying I don't like her.
there's some issues. There's obviously some issues, but to say you gotta stop talking when I'm talking. I'm not the 22-year-old kids. She seems like a young mother who's trying to do the right thing with her kids.
Thank you.
She's asking for people not to smoke around them.
Thank you.
Don't feed the baby sugar and water.
Thank you.
I don't understand what the problem is. If she were your daughter, wouldn't you want her to be the type of mother she is right now? That she's trying to be? I don't see what these real issues are that you have with them.
They just don't want to be around me.
And for some reason you don't understand why. I'm going to tell you now, ma'am, it's not because you have diabetes.
Exactly.
It's not, no, I'm not making a joke. Because I want you to understand that, and maybe you'll understand it. Maybe you'll understand it coming from me. I really and truly believe that their decision not to have their child around you has nothing. Let me just ask, do you not want your child to be around her because she has diabetes?
I never said that, Your Honor.
But that doesn't mean you have to take him away from me.
I'm taking him away from you, Norma, because of your actions and the purpose of your things.
Too.
I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Into that.
I thought when you wrote in your complaint and you told me everything about your son and Erica, and they're not letting you see their grandchild, I just don't see two mean people who just want to make you angry, want to make your life miserable. They're taking this child away from you just to punish you. I just don't see it. There's obviously an issue there, and one of the things is you don't listen. You don't listen. You already have your mind made up. You already have your mind made up about this.
And now Judge Faith rules.
I don't want it to be this way for the rest of your grandchild's life, but you have to respect a mother's wishes with how she wants her child to be taken care of if if you're visiting or if they're visiting you.
Yeah.
That's it. It seems to be really simple. Just do what she asked. If it's in the best interest of the child and you can visit your grandchild. You're shaking your head no. Then that's on you. Then that's on you. You'll never understand. If you don't get it today, you're never going to get it. Having kids in and out of the system for half of their lives, you should know I should do something different this time around.
I think.
I'm not convinced that when you bought this car that you weren't buying it as a gift for him and that this lawsuit and these allegations are something that you thought of after the fact. Judgment in this case for the defendants.
Today on Judge Fate, parenting never stops, even when facing your own daughter in court.
We'll come to her mother who loves her daughter, who's supposed to be there for her daughter, to help in time of need.
They fail to realize that I can't pay their bills.
She has been able to help with money. That should be a gift. It's not a loan. That's not what family does for family.
Is this a case of tough love
I think she feels entitled.
or a mother's spite?
I don't think he's good enough for my daughter. As a matter of fact, he's still married to another woman.
You are a 34-year-old grown man. Here's a news flash.
Right.
No one else was put on this earth to take care of you. You take care of yourself.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Fate. Plaintiff Shelley Perry says the money she gave to support her adult daughter, boyfriend, and their children was a loan. She is suing for $4,220. Defendant Kayla Palmer and Jason Hughes say they owe mom nothing. They are countersuing for $5,000 for emotional damage and defamation of character.
Remain seated and come to order. The court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Perry versus Hughes and Palmer.
Thank you, Barbara. Shelley Perry, right. You are suing the defendants Jason Hughes and Kayla Palmer for $4,220. You say they owe you for unpaid loans, utility bills, grocery money, car rental fees, and incidental expenses?
Right.
And you are countersuing for $5,000 for defamation of character and emotional damage?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll start with you, Miss Perry. Tell me what's going on here.
First, I just want to say that I love my daughter, and I hate that we're here.
Miss Palmer is your daughter?
Yes, when Kayla was 5, she went through some very traumatic things in her life. And as a result of that, I parented her out of guilt. So I tried to give her everything growing up. I did give her everything growing up. And so now as an adult, I think she feels entitled. The gentleman beside her is her boyfriend of 4 years. I do not like him. He knows that.
It's true, Your Honor.
It is true. He doesn't like me either. You know, I don't think he's good enough for my daughter. As a matter of fact, he's still married to another woman.
How old are you, ma'am?
I'm 24.
24? Okay. Are you still married, sir?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Legally,
Legally, yes. About the only way you can be married.
they've been separated for 5 years.
I want to be there as her parent and friend on one hand and help her with everything she needs. But I also want
What does she need help with? What do you mean?
He cannot provide for her or my 2 grandsons, one of which is his.
How old are your kids, ma'am?
2 and 3. I was 6 weeks pregnant when we met. So he ended up staying with me through that pregnancy and raised and is still raising another man's child on top of his.
We had one after.
I got pregnant 6 weeks after I had my first child.
Was the second pregnancy planned pregnancy?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, it was.
Okay.
Um,
For you?
I'm 34.
You say you're 24 years old. Do you work?
No, I have a heart disease that keeps me from working. I have to take medicine for it every day because of it. I've been going to doctors nonstop. They're trying to find out what's wrong. They're telling me that if I have surgery done at such a young age, they'll need a pacemaker later on in life. So it's something that's physically, literally stopping me in my place. So I rely on him to bring in everything.
It keeps her from working, but it doesn't keep her from going to World's Fun and to the flea market
I
and
mean,
shopping.
you have heart disease. You say it keeps you from working, but it did not keep you from having 2 kids, right?
After I had my 2 kids is when heart disease started.
Do you work some? What do you do for?
Well, actually, I'm in between jobs right now.
Between jobs all the time.
Unfortunately, I have had some bad luck.
No. There's not any luck. He quit a good paying job.
It's
He
not,
took a job under the table,
you know,
which did not pan out.
What do you do for a living?
what I do for a living. I work in factories. I'm an order picker. I go to wherever with the jobs, demand for me to go. I have worked for 4 years. I've taken care of a child that wasn't mine. That should be respected in a mother's eyes, I believe, for a daughter, to have that kind of love shown to her. She has been able to help with money. That should be a gift. It's not a loan. That's not what family does for families. That's how I feel. If my daughter or son needed something, I wouldn't say, hey, this is a loan, we'll pay it back and demand it. When she knows what kind of financial struggle that we are in.
You seem to want a pat on the back for the choices that you're making.
Right.
You made a decision with a 21-year-old who just had a baby, get pregnant while you're married to someone else, and clearly you're having problems taking care of 2 kids.
Right.
What about that do you think is a good idea?
Nothing was a good idea, but the past was already chosen. I chose to stay with her out of love. Yes, a second child came about from this, and yes, I do struggle for.
So you chose to have a second
Right,
child.
we chose to have a second child, which is not.
Jealous that she had a child by another man.
No,
That's why they planned a
And
second.
you're still married. Why are you still married?
I'm still married because I haven't had the money to pay for a divorce.
$150.
Yeah, when you were paying rent, when you were paying utilities, I didn't have
Help with bills. He has provided nonstop for me and 2 children this whole entire time.
Let me explain something to you, ma'am. You can defend him all you want to, but this man has made a choice to stay married the entire time the 2 of you have been together, to have a child with you. I'm just trying to tell you, he is not a prince among men. So you can keep defending him all you want to, but I'm just letting you know.
Coming up on Judge Fate, will this family be able to compromise?
They use the boys as pawns against me. If I don't help them, and they'll withhold them from me.
right because she talked down on me like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Why?
Right? Why can't you get a second job and provide for his family? Can I get a
Is he always this extra?
Ever since the Crescent's got bigger,
I didn't move like that.
he's all in the face.
Engineered for performance, the all-electric Volvo EX90 perceives what's ahead, detecting risks before you're aware. With sound shaped for focus, interest speakers keep the driver in their zone. Volvo EX90, designed to be the safest Volvo ever made.
This is big. Everything's on sale at the Sephora savings event. All your essentials. All the beauty you want to try. All on sale. You're gonna need a bigger bag.
Apply for a new place from any place with just a single click. Preference.com, a place to find a place. Plaintiff Shelley Perry alleges that she made loans to her daughter and her boyfriend, and they refused to make minimum payments. Defendant Caleb Palmer and Jason Gibb say the money was a family gift, and they don't need to repay.
What is your current status now in terms of where you live and who's taking care of what responsibilities?
We live in a house. I take care of them. I fell behind on bills. These magical words as loans.
So you, excuse me, sir. Do you rent or own right now?
I rent.
Okay, how much is it for Friday? Are you being evicted on Friday? Okay, so you're not taking care of the bills and responsibility.
Right.
All right.
That's because I haven't been able to. We come to her mother, who's loves her daughter, who's supposed to be there for her daughter, to help in times of need.
They fail to realize that that I can't pay their bill.
You say over the course of several years you have given your daughter loans that she has failed to repay?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Every time she calls me, I feel guilty, so I go running. After she had the kids, it was even harder. They use the boys as pawns against me. If I don't help them, it's, well, you're not going to see any more money back until the boys benefit from you. And they'll withhold them from me.
Right, because she talks down on me like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Why?
Right? Why can't you get a second job?
I mean, you can understand how her daughter's 24 years old.
Right,
She has 2 kids,
right.
and you all are being evicted on Friday and will have no place to live. You can understand why she'd be a little upset, can't you?
Yeah, I can see why she's a little upset.
Okay. What you should not do is hold these kids against her if that's what you've been doing. That's what you shouldn't do.
And I don't.
They have to realize I am on a fixed income. I have a place. I can't have anybody else live with me.
The only reason why I would ask her to stay with her is because she's the only person in this world I have. I have no other family besides the man I'm with. And then when he can't provide because he also has another child that he takes care of as well. On top of that, I ask the only other person I have.
Only thing is he is not taking care of that other child either.
I pay child support, Your Honor.
So are your wages being garnished, sir?
Yes.
Okay, they don't come and garnish your wages unless you're not paying child support. So at some point, your wages started being garnished for failure to pay child support. How much are they taking out?
So it's a month?
Yes.
They take 450.
For the last 3 months, you say you've given your daughter over $1,800 in cash. Do you have proof of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see it, please. And you say that this was not something that you ever promised to pay in any specific
Right.
period of time, but it was your intention to pay your mother back.
I wanted to pay her back, of course, but if I couldn't, I never expected it to come to this.
What was the conversation when you gave her this money? What was the agreement between the two of you with respect to the money?
Oh, we had several conversations. The first one, I sat down with both of them. She had found a little car, and she needed a car. So she asked me for $950 to go buy this little used car. I gave it to her. She went to go buy the car. The guy had sold it. So instead of giving me the money back, she used it on bills.
What was the conversation? Did you promise that you would pay her back?
I told her I'd give her what I could when I could. It wasn't ever anything set in stone. It was never wrote down, nothing like that.
It doesn't have to be written down for it to be an agreement. It can be orally met.
And that's not true. We had a plan.
Mhm.
I didn't expect, $100 a month from them, knowing their situation. I just wanted them to pay the minimum payments to get it paid off.
And when she came with us the first payment and he had just lost his job, we weren't able to
He lose his job, he quit his job. As a matter of fact, I was actually at her house that day.
What did he say?
He was working through a temp service and he found a better deal, job under the table, paid more money. So he called them and literally quit.
What was the better job that he told you about?
It was another physical labor type of position, getting $500 a week with no taxes or anything taken out.
Is that true? You were going to be paid in cash?
Yes. Now, the thing was this, I didn't quit my job. My assignment was over. And I was telling her because she had happened to come down for the weekend to visit the kids. So maybe 3 times since they've been alive. I had other options that I was looking into, and that there was something that was paying cash, construction type job that I was going to look into as far as getting money back flowing into the house.
That hasn't worked out.
That didn't work out.
If you had a high school diploma, maybe it would work out a little better.
Okay, so we made mistakes.
But neither one of them had learned how to know.
Right. Just because of a mistake you made when you were 18 years old does not mean you should be judged now because of how you thought things.
Well, let me tell you something. It's never too late to get a GED, do whatever you need to do or get an education to improve upon your own lives. So it's never too late for that if that's something that you want to pursue.
Coming up on Judge Faith, Faith gives a piece of her mind.
She's not the person that you think she is. She does get money other places. Her
Her money is what you're saying.
it's not that she doesn't need her money. I know that she needs my money.
She gets $950 a month in this country that is living at the poverty level. You understand?
Yes,
And she's giving you all of this money. They don't take care of you and your kids.
Plaintiff Shelley Perry says the money she gave to her daughter and boyfriend was a loan. Defendants Sheila Palmer and Jason Hughes say the money was a gift and they owe mom nothing.
What's your monthly income, ma'am?
Under $700 a month. I pay my rent. I have a car payment.
Do you live by yourself?
I live by myself.
Mhm.
I pay my cable, my phone. I
She also
pay
gets
my
money from her ex-husband and my grandfather and everything else.
I get 250 from my ex-husband for a property settlement through our divorce.
So only about $950 a month?
Right.
And how are you all supporting yourself right now? Are you on any kind of government assistance?
I receive food stamps to help, but that's it.
Prior to this 2 to 3 week period of you being out of work, what were you making a week?
I say maybe 250 a week.
So at some point, your wages started being garnished for failure to pay child support. How much are they taking out?
For one child.
He doesn't even
That's
see.
not been for the past year.
No, I don't get to see him, but that's still my
Why,
responsibility.
and why don't you get to see your child?
That's because I don't live around here. I live 10 hours away.
Okay, so that's a choice that you make to live where you live, right? And your mother is here. She gets $950 a month in this country that is living at the poverty level. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
She's giving you all this money to help take care of you and your kids. What do you have to say about what she said to you in court today?
She's not the person that you think she is. She does get money other places. She's not.
I'm not asking you about what other sources of income she has. I'm asking you about what she has done for you to bring you to this place today.
She has helped us out. She's helped us out quite a few times, but she does have other sources, other people. That's why I feel like it's almost like okay.
So she doesn't need her money, is what you're saying.
It's not that she doesn't need her money. I know that she needs my money.
She should help. You should help.
No, let me tell you
She's
something.
not her great-
Sir, let me explain something to you. You are a 34-year-old grown man. Here's a news flash.
Right.
No one else was put on this earth to take care of you. You take care of yourself. So I don't want to hear what you think she should do. There is nothing that she should be doing for you.
Right. Well, let me rephrase. It shouldn't. She should, but it shouldn't be a problem if she does.
And it hasn't been a problem, sir. Apparently, it has not been a problem. What's your counterclaim about?
Emotional distress. She calls me. She calls me names. Emotional distress. Defamation of character.
How has she defamed your character?
Perfect example is right here.
No, it's not about what's. This is court.
Perfect
Tell me how
example.
she's done to defame your character.
Can't find a job. That's talking down on me. She called the police one night because she had fell asleep and didn't answer the phone. You know, things like that happen because I got with her daughter and we had a planned pregnancy and I haven't had the money for a divorce, but I'm still a father who stayed with 2 children, struggling, here for her daughter when she wasn't. For 4 years, we came to her for help here and there, but I'm the one who has taken care of her daughter for the 4 years and got.
You're not taking care of her. You're being evicted on Friday. So you're not doing a great job.
Okay, well, I mean, sometimes things do come to an end, but what can I do? Me and her argue because, you know, that's her mother. It causes me loss of sleep.
If anything, the emotional distress is on me. Yes. Not on the death.
And now Judge Faith rules.
In these cases, whenever I have families come in and the issue is whether something is a loan or a gift or what the agreement has been, it doesn't have to be writing, but the burden of proof is still the same. You still have to come in and prove to me that these items were a loan. And what I find is a lot of the things you've listed for incidental expenses, groceries, utility bills, I find that some of those things obviously you were doing to help your daughter, as any mother would do.
Right.
But she has admitted that some of these items were in fact loans that she promised to repay you.
Right.
On your counterclaim for defamation of character, sir, this should come as no surprise to you, 0. For emotional damage, $0. Let me tell you something. I understand you may have had your feelings hurt, but that is not defamation of character. You understand? All right. You seem to want to come into court and you want to get a pat on the back for doing what you're
Stating facts.
no, I don't want you to interrupt me right now. You seem to want to get a pat on the back for doing the things you're supposed to do anyway, as a decent human being and as a father. So you don't get extra credit for doing the things that you're supposed to do anyway. But I do know one thing, based on what you said today, putting aside everything she said, based on what you've said today, I'm telling you, you need to do better. It's not going to be improvements. Let me tell you something now. I'm just going to give you a little piece of advice because these are personal choices. You're a grown woman, you're 24 years old. These are the choices that you're making. But I'm telling you right now, if he wanted to be divorced and marry you, he'd do it. I'm not wishing doom on your relationship, but when he's gone, mom is going to be the one that's going to be there. Like you said, she's the only one you have. That's something I want you to think about. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff, $1,854.29 in the unpaid loans. I'm ordering you to pay her back that money. That's for the plaintiff. Good luck.
They don't know the first thing about you. Oh, Plus, like that Walmart Plus members get free delivery on more than just groceries. Free delivery on these apples and the shirt. Knowing about Walmart Plus is a beautiful thing.
Introducing the all-new AT&T One Connect. Now all of your devices are connected under one plan. Whether you're working from home or streaming on the go, AT&T One Connect keeps your phone, smartwatch, tablet, all of your screens connected. One plan, all of your connections, one simple price. Tax is included. Switch and get AT&T One Connect for both wireless and home internet, starting at $90 a month. AT&T, connecting changes everything.
Really gives us visibility into not just the amount of money we have, but the work that it's doing, and it gives us something to build toward without so much of the financial anxiety that we had before.
Today on Judge Fate, these two motorists run into each other, but one just wants to run away.
All of a sudden, chaos. And I just see this big red car just literally like ripping my door. It's like just crunching it all up. And I'm yelling, stop, what are you doing? Stop. And it seemed like it was much damage. So I kept on going.
If you were able to assess the damage to his vehicle while you were still driving at his door.
And later, this couple met online and married in Hawaii.
Was it a dating site or was it like a social media type of site?
I think it was MySpace.
Oh, MySpace. Okay. This was back in the 80s then. I'm just
But it's Paradise Lost.
Constantly supporting us about our graphics.
That's what a lot of spouses have to do sometimes.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Fate. Plaintiff Alexander Perrington says that he was sitting in his car when the defendant hit him and then kept on driving. He is suing for damages to his vehicle. He is joined in court by friend Antoine Hubbard. Defendant Michael Williams says the accident was the plaintiff's fault since he left his car door wide open. He's countersuing for harassment, pain and suffering, and lost wages.
Remain seated, come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Perryman versus Williams.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Mr. Alexander Perryman,
Yes, ma'am.
you are suing the defendant Michael Williams
Yes, ma'am.
for $2,352 for damages to your vehicle you say he caused as a result of a car accident?
Yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start with you, Mr. Perryman. What's going on here?
Well, good morning to you, Judge, or afternoon. Well, sorry, sorry about that. On June 15th, I go to a friend's house. My friend Pat, he was throwing a Father's Day picnic and took my children with me.
having a great time, you know, a lot of great laughs, food, drinks, that sort of thing. As the evening got on, pretty much about 12 or 1 o'clock, everyone started to leave.
In the morning?
Yes, in the morning, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, everyone started to leave.
That's not true.
Everyone started to leave about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, Your Honor. And
That's true.
what ended up happening was I go in my car. I'm a music producer, been doing it for 23 years. Wanted to personally show my brother some music that I've been working on. So I go to my car, get inside of it, start it up, that sort of thing. Couldn't find the song that I was looking for. So went ahead and turned my car off, checked my mirrors just to make sure if anybody was coming down the street, anything like that, because I was going to get out of the car. Open the car door slightly, not too much, and all of a sudden, bam, you know, there was this crash. I look up to my left, I'm startled because I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. And I can see this big red car just literally like ripping my door. It's like just crunching it all up, ripping it all up, just steady going. And I'm yelling, stop, what are you doing? Stop. And I mean, the window is down on Mike Williams' truck. I mean,
Did you see him in the car at that point? Did you know him?
I was introduced to him earlier in that day.
Oh,
Brothers out, okay. Like I said, I'm in the car, I'm yelling at him, stop, what are you doing, you know? And he's steady going. I mean, he didn't hear me. He didn't have any headlights on or anything. I mean, he's steady going. I mean, steady moving.
Not true.
And I mean, everyone that was there at the party, they seen it. I mean, everyone is saying, you know, looking like in amazement, like, what is going on here? He never stopped. He never came back. And he kept going on. So at this
kept driving. So he left the party?
Yes, he left the party.
Okay, so what happened?
That's not true. I left the party, right? So the door was wide open.
Definitely.
So it's black on the block. Well, anyway, it's black on the block now. It's only like one car go down the street.
Okay, sir. You said his door was wide open. So you saw his door before you hit it then?
No, I didn't.
How do you know it was wide open? Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry.
It's wide open.
Okay, and so you tried to slow down to avoid hitting the door?
I was going fast already. I couldn't slow down. I let the car roll. I couldn't slow down.
Okay, so you hit his car. Okay, and so what did you do after you realized you hit his car?
So I kept on going. So you just kept. It wasn't much damage.
Let me make sure I understand this. You were able to assess the damage to his vehicle while you were still driving and you hit his door, and so that's why you kept going. How long have you been at this party? Has you been drinking?
That's not true, Your Honor. Come on, bitch. That's not true.
Hold on a second. So that's what everyone says, by the way, when they've been drinking and then getting. Everyone says they've only had 2 drinks. No one has ever had more than 2 drinks.
My witness is my brother Antoine. He was there with me.
Can you step up, sir?
Yeah. You wasn't even out. Some say what? You wasn't even out there. He was there. About 10 o'clock, he was still there.
Mr. Hubbard, speak to me. What's your witness?
I witnessed him coming around the corner. He didn't have on the headlights.
Actually, the brand lights were auto. They don't. It's actually kind of automatic. That's not true.
You did have your lights on.
When he turned the corner, the house door was flat. He sideswiped this car.
Stop interrupting,
He
please.
sideswiped the car. If you look at the picture, you'll see where he hit the door on the edge. If the door was open, he would have knocked the door all the way back if he hit the car.
Okay.
Everybody trying to flag him down and stop
He
him.
kept going.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Thank you. Okay, let's see the photos.
Okay, now as you can see there, Your Honor, the door was not wide open at all. Like I said, he was so close to me that he opened the door. The door was wide open.
So it kind of bent in this way.
Yes, it bent in this way, and as he was moving, the door was opening wider, but it did not tear completely off.
Sir, why are you trying to describe in the photos? You said it was dark that night. It was all so what you know about the damages?
Coming up on Judge Faith, how many other car accidents has this gentleman been in?
He, in fact, recommended me to the auto body shop that I went to get the estimate.
Most people don't have a person on call. They use
And lady, Judge Faith untangles this lover's quarrel.
Miss Reese refused to change her last name to mine. It wouldn't have been such a big deal if it was her maiden name, but her last name is her ex-husband's last name.
Plaintiff Alexander Perryman is suing for damages to his car after a hit and run. Defendant Michael Williams says the accident is the fault of both parties, and he's not solely responsible.
I talked to Mr. Williams on the 17th. Mr. Williams,
Excuse me, sir.
Mr.
Stop
Williams
interrupting.
openly admitted to me that it was his fault that he had been drinking that night. And he hadn't even realized that he had hit my car. He didn't even realize that it happened.
Not true.
He was just that intoxicated. I mean, who drives a car and you're that drunk where you don't realize that you hit a car door and you keep going? He was drunk. And he openly admitted that that's what happened.
Not true.
So
Wait, sir. Stop saying that's not true. You have an opportunity to respond to that. I get it. Everything he's saying is not true. Okay? I understand your position, but let me hear what he has to say.
okay. I talked to Mr. Williams. He said that he would assess the damages. He'll pay for it out of pocket. He admitted to me that he did not want to go through his insurance because he had an accident earlier in that year where he wrecked his mother's car
Is that
because of intoxication.
My son was 911.
Have you been
Oh,
arrested for DUI before? Have you been stopped for DUI? Okay. Where did you get that information from?
I got it from his brothers. I was also there as well.
That's not true.
I got it from Patty and his brothers. I'll fabricate this.
You have a conversation with the defendant. He
Yes.
admits fault.
Yes, he
That
admits
he's responsible.
Absolutely.
And then the issue came down to when you asked him did you submit some kind of proof of damages to him?
Actually, he in fact recommended me to the auto body shop that I went to get the estimate.
That's true.
Did you send him to your auto collision
Yes, I did.
person? Okay, and how is it that most people don't have a person on call that they use?
Just let you know, I mean, it's
Tell me about your counterclaim, sir. What lost wages have you suffered as a result of this case? For what?
my car was in the shop.
Okay,
Really?
you blame the plaintiff for that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask him.
Because he was calling, trying to get payment for his car? That's the harassment?
That's what he's trying to do.
Okay, so your counterclaim is dismissed.
It shows his irresponsibility as a man. I mean, what are you still here? Are you wearing diapers? I shouldn't have to plug up on a grown man to actually handle his responsibility. I have insurance. Thank you very much.
So here's the deal. First of all, the fact that you're saying it was minimal damage, that's why I didn't stop. I don't believe that for a second. I don't know if you had been drinking and that's why you kept going and you just didn't know what you were doing. I don't know what your reason was. Maybe perhaps you thought he doesn't know who I am. I can just drive away and he won't know. But whatever it was, it doesn't matter. You can't do that. If you hit someone's car causing them damage, the right thing to do, the stand-up thing to do is stay at the scene and address the fact of what you just did and handle your responsibility.
Right.
You understand? So, judgment in this case for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,352 plus court costs.
Plaintiff Tiffany Ruiz took care of all the bills for her husband, but now that they are divorced, she'd like to be reimbursed. She is suing for $6,500. Defendant John Markham says that his ex-wife wanted to help him get his life back on track, and that he shouldn't have to pay for things that they shared during the marriage.
Tiffany Ruiz, you were suing the defendant John Markham for $6,500 for repayment of unemployment, and I'll let you explain to me what that means. Court fines and license reinstatement fees. You understand the statutory maximum in my court is $5,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and as I understand it, the defendant is your ex-husband.
Yes.
And you are saying that you loaned him money before you got married and during the course of the marriage.
Yeah, I loaned him money before we were married, and then when we were at the tail end of our marriage.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. How did all of this happen? When did you first meet Mr. Markham?
I met Mr. Markham in 2007.
I do believe, and met him on the internet, and we started dating. Um, Everything was good. He was a very nice guy, swept me off my feet, you know, bought flowers and special things, and it was all really, really good.
What website do you remember?
I don't.
Okay.
I think it was MySpace.
Oh, MySpace. Okay.
Yeah.
This was back in the 80s then. No, I'm just
Time ago.
okay. All right, go ahead.
And he had a catchy line, and I was coming off.
What was the catchy line?
I don't remember either. I just remember it being the line,
Okay, the one that worked.
the one that worked that got me interested. Yeah. Started dating. Like I guess any couple would go out, have a good time. Um, he lived in Boise, and I lived in Nampa, Idaho, and um, I guess it was just like any other kind of dating. So before we got married, he had a warrant. He had several citations that I had no idea about. Wasn't something that John really kind of divulged. We got into a circumstance where he had was bringing me insurance, and he got his license and his registration ran for the truck that he was driving, and the police arrested him at that time for an outstanding warrant.
what?
Failure to pay fine.
He spent his 30 days, and I waited for him. But part of his contract for being released on his 30 days after his thing was to get his fines paid, because he had several that were not taken care of for a really long time. So he had to have those things taken care of in order to stay out of jail.
Well, when you say you loaned him the money, how much was it?
When I looked it all up, it was at that time it was 2000.
Yeah, because it's been so long.
Yeah.
We're talking about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing this to court. How much did you pay for tickets? Can you tell me what the conversation was? Do you remember?
I just threw it out to her and gave her the option, could you help me? If not, I understand. I will find my means to do it, but I want to get this settled and get my life in order.
And did you ask for any of this money back before you got married?
Yes, he was going to be paying it back. Yes.
Was that true, sir?
To help pay her back, if any means possible, but go from there.
If you were asking like if there's a timeline when he was supposed to pay me back, no. He was just supposed to get a job and continue to pay me back for these particular fines.
And so you gave him all this money and you're just dating him. He's not your husband. How long have you known him at this point?
About a year.
You're also suing for loans you say you gave to him during the course of your marriage.
Correct.
Tell me about that. Where did you get married?
Hawaii.
Where did you live after you were married?
We lived in Idaho for a little while, and then we moved to Hawaii.
What state is your marriage license from?
Hawaii.
Coming up, is the plaintiff only bringing up this case now because her ex has found another lie?
Your husband makes a comment about how great it is to marry a sugar mama.
So where were you served?
At my in-laws' house the day before my wedding.
I will make the fines him.
Plaintiff,
You know the Walmart app has over half a billion items? He knew.
new patio.
Cool outfit.
He knows now. I know it's a beautiful thing. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Who's ready for a deal? Now, you can order a footlong in the Subway app and get another for free. That's right, Subway Sub Club members. Free! Get your favorite sub plus one. Subway, eat fresh, feel good.
You want to know how to have success in life or in business? Whoever executes on ideas faster wins the race. You have recipes, you got the game plans from all those other people that are doing what you want to do and having super successful attempts at it, right? All you have to do is execute everything that they're doing and do it faster. And that's how you're going to win.
Plaintiff Tiffany Ruiz says she is owed money for loans that were not a gift to her ex. Defendant John Markham says that he shouldn't have to pay for things they shared while they were married.
Part of the loans and stuff too is, John had a really hard time holding consistent jobs. Part of that reason was because he was a certified exhaust tech, a well tech, and in order to drive those cars, he had to have a license. So every time he would get the job, he would have no trouble getting the job. They would let him go because their insurance would not cover him because he had no license. So I was constantly supporting us throughout our marriage, and that was becoming an issue. So we couldn't afford to.
That's what a lot of spouses have to do sometimes.
This was to an extreme. I mean,
I may have job jumped. I did do that, but I was always consistent about having jobs, and I never went very long without having a job or having income.
and I have stuff here too, Your Honor, for like the W-2 showing how much unemployment John had collected because he had been unemployed for so many times. And so
You married him. I mean, you know, this is your husband that you're talking about here.
things change. You know, when something is amazingly great, and then all of a sudden you get married, and your parents tell you that your husband makes a comment about how great it is to marry a sugar mama, things change. And John changed, and things that he would say, things that he would do.
It's however true that after the reason that our marriage did eventually fall apart was due to the circumstances that 6 months into the marriage, Miss Reese refused to change her last name to mine, and which wouldn't have been such a big deal if it was her maiden name, but her last name is her ex-husband's last name.
And the reason I did that, John was never allowed to be on my bank accounts. I couldn't do that because I'm giving myself to somebody fully. And unfortunately, after we got married and I found out all these things, I wasn't going to let him on my bank accounts. I wasn't going to change my name because I didn't see the marriage as lasting.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Why are you doing this now? Why have you brought this lawsuit now?
He stopped making payments.
And the fact that a little awkward to me that I had just previously gotten married. I just got married last month.
I can answer why. I couldn't find him. So I found where his now wife, had posted where they were getting married and what was going on, and that was the only way I could have him served. I had no idea where he served.
Actually, at my in-laws' house the day before my wedding.
I didn't find him.
You didn't have a prenuptial agreement, right?
No.
And you just told me that you didn't have a post-nuptial agreement. You don't have anything in writing about who will be responsible for what debts. You're living in California, which is in a community property state